Okay. A couple things before we do introductions. So we have a good number of people that are joining us, which is great. The challenge with having a number of people joining us is that a lot of times we'll get feedback through some of the audio. So please, if you're not going to ask a question, we're going to do introductions in a minute, but when you're not asking a question or if you're not going to interject something, please go ahead and mute your audio, and that will kind of save us from hearing a lot of the feedback. Along with the YouTube link, you'll also be receiving a link to an online survey. We definitely need to know how this training went. We did a training similar to this last week, and the feedback, Kathy will tell you, we've already incorporated some of the feedback from last week into this week's session, so you'll get a link to that as well. And this is very interactive, so feel free to ask questions as Kathy and I go through the various modules that we're going to cover this morning. So I'm going to use the screen that I'm looking at and kind of scroll across and ask each of you to introduce yourself. If you can just give me your name, your club, and your role, and then we will start. Kathy, why don't we start with you?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Kathy Fuller. I'm with the Rotary Club of Alamogordo, and I am the district executive secretary. So it's good to put names and faces together with everyone.
Awesome, thank you. Michael.
Oh yeah, good morning. My name is Michael Grumling. I am from the East El Paso Rotary Club. I am retired now. I used to have a bakery in East El Paso, Marina's German Bakery. Okay. Maybe I have to say that I'm German, yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
But Jeff, you have a German background too, according to your last name. That sounds sort of German.
It's somewhere in my ancestry. There's certainly German heritage. We haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
Okay, Mary.
Mary Piper, President-elect of the Alamogordo Club. I get the privilege of seeing Kathy on a weekly basis. And Michael, I too, my husband is of German heritage. However, we pronounce our name Piper, like the airplane.
Yeah, it would be Pieper otherwise.
Right, correct.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary. Len?
Len Olson, Northeast Rotary Club from El Paso, Texas.
Thank you, Len. Betty?
I'm Betty Young, and I'm president-elect with Volvo Rotary, and I'm interested in the German heritage that y'all people are talking about. I need some help with my genealogy.
Let's see, John.
My name's John Crouch. I'm with the Taos and Wild Grove Rotary Club. I'm AG for Angel Fire and Taos, past president of our club, and I'm here just because I'm interested.
Thank you very much, John. Carl?
Carl Terry from the Portales Rotary Club. I'm a past president, and I'm in training here as an AG for the two Clovis clubs and the Texaco Club.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Jim Colvin.
Hi, I'm Jim Colvin. I'm a past district governor from District 5080 in Washington and British Columbia, and retired and living in Florida now. And I'm here to listen to you because I'm going to be attending your PETS next month, and I'll be speaking to you there.
Thank you very much for joining us. Don.
Don Nichols from the Portales Club, and I'm the president-elect, and I'm retired.
Awesome, thank you. Sandy.
Hi, I'm Sandy Gardner, and I am president-elect of Elephant Youth, and I'm also the curriculum director this year for the girls that I have been council.
Excellent, thank you very much. Mary Bresnahan.
Mary Bresnahan. I'm with the Sandia Club in Albuquerque. I'm an AG for Rio Rancho, Sunrise, Los Lunas, Belen, and next year it will be Rio Rancho, Sunrise, Socorro, and Del Sol.
Awesome.
And I
Thank you
do
very-
have lots of German heritage.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. Rich Canfield?
Yeah, Rich Canfield from the Sandlot Rotary in Farmington High School, the Fort Worth area. I'm the president-elect for this year.
Excellent. Thank you. William Irving?
I go by Aaron Irving, but I'm
Okay. Thank you.
William Irving. I'm the president-elect for the Carlsbad Club.
Awesome. Thank you. Tammy?
Hi, I'm Tammy Mandel, and I'm the vice president for the Carlsbad Club.
Thank you, Tammy. Guy?
Hello, everyone. Guy Floyd from the the Rio Grande Rotary Club in Las Cruces. I'm AG South team.
Excellent. And I'm going to assume that Peterson is Janine Peterson. Janine, is that you? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Let's see. Marley Rainey?
I'm Marley Rainey from the Clovis Rotary Club in Clovis, New Mexico, and I am president-elect.
Excellent. And that was Janine. She's having issues with her microphone. Bill Hicks?
Hello, I'm Bill Hicks. I'm the president-elect for the Rotary Club of El Paso.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And then I see Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica with the Rotary Club of Tularosa.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for joining us. And then there's it says Jeff and Gail, and I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, that's me, Gail Mandel. I'm president-elect of Rotary Club of Albuquerque, Sandia.
Hi, Gail.
Hi.
Okay, Richard Haas.
Hi, Richard Haas with the Las Cruces Rio Grande Rotary Club, president-elect.
Thank you, Richard. Angie Miles. Angie, are you with us? Okay. Gary King.
I'm here. My pad still won't run the Zoom software, but I'm here by phone. So I'm the current president of the Moriarty Rotary Club, and next year anticipate being the assistant governor for Mountainera Estancia and the Rio Grande Club in Albuquerque.
Fantastic. Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, good morning. This is Kevin Moots with the Rotary Club of Angel Fire, and I'll be president-elect.
Excellent. Thank you. Sunny.
Hi, Sunny Yates Kellerman, Rotary Club of Silver City. I am the AG this year for Silver City, Deming, Las Cruces, Rio Grande, and Las Cruces.
Awesome. Thank you, Sunny. And our district governor-elect is with us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really glad to join you. This
And
is
you
Doreen
are-
Kelsey.
Sorry.
This is Doreen Kelsey, and I hail from the Rotary Club of Albuquerque del Sol.
And you are on your way back from San Diego, correct?
Yes, we just had an incredibly inspirational past week, and I'm coming back with all kinds of great information. The future of Rotary is bright, and I'm so glad to have all of you join us on this adventure.
Awesome. Thank you, Doreen. And then we have two other people who are on the phone, but I don't have names yet. So if I didn't mention your name yet and you're on the phone, if you could introduce yourselves.
Sure. Jesse Brownfield from the Artesia Rotary Club, president-elect.
Hi, Jesse. And there's one other, perhaps? Okay. And my name is Jeff Weinrack, and I'm the district trainer, and I'm from the Albuquerque Club, the Club of Albuquerque del Sol. Okay, we are going to dive right in, and Kathy is going to be joining me. Doreen, how long will you be able to stay on?
I should be able to stay on for the duration of the call. There's an hour time difference here.
Okay. Well, so Doreen may have some things that she wants to interject. We very much thank you for joining us this prePETS training is something that we're doing that's relatively new. We look at training presidents-elect in terms of 3 buckets, if you will. There are things that you need to know how to do. There's things that you need to be, things like an effective communicator, motivator, and then things that you need to know, how to district grants work, things like that. This morning, we're going to be focusing much on the things you need to do. What are your roles and responsibilities as a president-elect? And to do that, we're going to use the Club President's Manual, and I'm going to show that to you now. Okay, does everyone see the Club President's Manual?
Yes, I do.
So these were sent, if you received the emails from me, you received a hyperlink so you could look at this manual as well as another manual we'll take a look at called Be a Vibrant Club. Doreen, it's my understanding that they'll be receiving hard copies of not just the President's Manual, but a lot of the club officers and club committee chairs, and that's going to be fairly soon. Is that correct?
Yes, well, I have all of them at home, and we'll bring them first to AG-LG training, and the AGs can then distribute them ahead of time to their presidents-elect. If the AG or LG is not attending that training, they'll be available at PETS. If people need them before that, they can access them online at rotary.org. Or if you really want to have the hard copy before then, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to put it in the mail for you.
Great, thank you. So we're going to go through this. Again, stop and ask questions. We're not going to go through all 80-something pages, but we're going to certainly cover the high points and take questions and so on. And Kathy will be showing us how to use Club Central to enter goals and how the district website works and things like that. So here we go. First thing you'll notice as you are scrolling through this, a very nice picture of presumably a current president or a president-elect, just like yourselves. And then we get right into changes to bylaws. And I find this very interesting that before you even get into the chapters, there's 2 pages that go over some of the recent changes at Rotary International that affect us and our clubs. And I'm glad that it's first because these are very important things for us to consider. And a lot of this involves flexibility in terms of membership, in terms of meeting times for the clubs. This includes some language about the notion that Rotaractors can at the same time be Rotarians. So there's a lot of really important information in these first 2 pages. So please don't gloss over this and go right to the chapters. There's a lot of very helpful information here. It also talks about the Rule of 85. A lot of the clubs already implement something like that, but the notion about 85 as a combination of years in Rotary plus their age, and if they're at that level, they are exempt from affecting attendance requirements and things like that. So this is really important, and this came directly out of the Council on Legislation, so it's very recent and things for us to consider, and I expect that there'll be some more of this discussed when we get to PETS as well. But please, when you go through the manual, take a look at those first couple of pages. And if you have any questions about this or any of the content, you can certainly ask me, but I would say go to your assistant governor first. They should also be familiar with this as well. But make sure you get help because these changes are very important and will help us be more successful. Okay. Let me also remind everyone, since we're now starting the training, unless you're going to ask a question, please go ahead and mute your audio. Okay. This manual covers a 3-year period, so typically the Rotary manuals will be updated every 3 years. So make sure that when you download the manual, you're looking at the most recent version. Okay, so the manual is split into a number of chapters. Each one really covers one significant aspect of your role. And it's interesting, some of the information covered here addresses things that you should be considering now while you're president-elect. So in many ways, this manual is both for presidents-elects and for presidents. So as we go through this, you'll see things that Rotary wants you to be doing or thinking about before you start your year, which is very important. And then there's other things that we'll be covering that will address activities during your year. So for example, planning your year, you don't want to be planning your year in the midst of your year. So these are things you want to be thinking about while you're president-elect. Okay. So what are we waiting for? We want to be a vibrant club. There's a nice little promo for this second document that I'm going to show you in a second. So be a vibrant club. I wish I had seen it sooner. I'm going to scroll over to it now. What I like about it for myself is it has a lot of pictures, which is good for me. But it's a kind of a short 10,000-foot view of what it takes to be a successful club and for things that presidents and other members of the club should be thinking about. But it also gives you some ideas, some best practices, things to consider. So let's scroll over to that for a minute. So here's Be a Vibrant Club. This is the second document that you received a hyperlink for. And it's much shorter, but we'll just kind of scroll through this and get an idea of what's covered in it. So it just talks about being a vibrant club, what that means. So we start with decide where your club wants to be in 3 to 5 years. So the idea of planning and not necessarily just planning for your upcoming year, but 3 to 5 years down the road. And many of our clubs not only know who the president-elect is, but know who the person who's going to be serving after that is, and maybe the year after that. You know, sustainability is very important. So we should be thinking a little bit longer term than just what's going to take place during the next Rotary year. So it does give some ideas on how you can kind of facilitate that notion or get the club interested in perhaps some longer term goals and strategies than what we're used to. Setting annual goals and entering them into Rotary Club Central. And again, Kathy will go over that with us in a few minutes. Very, very important. Not just to put them into Club Central, but to actually use those to manage how the club is doing. Maybe during club assemblies, showing the membership reports from Club Central that shows progress towards your goals, either to get them really excited and celebrate success, or maybe in one area the club is not doing that well towards achieving a goal, and maybe there's an opportunity to make a change to how the club is functioning in that area. So not just setting the goals, but also using that information to help inform the club. And that brings us to holding club assemblies. So that could be to go over progress towards goals. It could also be looking at important committee activities, upcoming events, things like that. So there's a strong recommendation to have club assemblies, whether it's once every 6 months, once every quarter. Try to have it be more interactive than, let's say, the normal club meeting. Communicating openly with the club, and communication is one of those skills and behaviors that is going to be very important for us as presidents-elect and ultimately as presidents to be able to do. We'll talk more about communication when we get to PETS, but you may be a wonderful organizer and a great manager, but if the club is not aware of what's going on, or if the club is voicing concerns and you're not hearing them, then the club is not going to be as effective. So communication is obviously very important, not just communicating from you to them, but also communicating from them to you. Preparing members for future roles. So the whole idea of succession planning and bringing up future club leaders is very important. We want to make sure that there's always people in the pipeline and that those people have time to be prepared and equipped and trained. So, keep a lookout for people in the club who, let's say, may not have served in leadership roles, but have that interest or have that level of engagement, because in a couple of years, most of them, if not all of them, could certainly be trained, but we want people that are going to be really passionate and excited about this. Adapting club bylaws. So every couple of years, in fact, this last year, Rotary International put out its updated club constitution, which all of our clubs were supposed to adapt. But along with that comes our bylaws, and it's very important, I would say every year, to review the bylaws, make sure that they're relevant, current. If there's any changes to the club, make sure that those changes are incorporated in the bylaws, and that the board and the members understand what are in those bylaws. They're not just for one person to know. So keeping up with the bylaws, making sure they're relevant and current is very important. Developing strong relationships within your club. Again, this is more of a style, a behavior of effective club leadership, but make sure that you're known, that you know your members, especially if you're in the larger clubs. It's kind of hard to get to know everyone, but it's really important that they feel comfortable with you. Hopefully, if you're president-elect now and you don't know all of the members, that you'll take the opportunity to get to know them, and they'll get to know you as well. Make sure that all members are involved in activities that genuinely interest them. A lot of this is done through surveys and other feedback that we get from the members about what their interests are. A couple of years ago, when our club did a member survey, we discovered, not to our surprise, but it was helpful to at least get it validated, that what was most interesting to our members was fellowship and service projects. So for us, that means that we really have to do quite a bit in fellowship and social activities, but also service projects, because that's what they're interested in. And we don't want to cater just to them. We also want to be doing other things, but we certainly want to make sure that we're doing enough to keep them happy, because that's what they are interested in doing. Okay, just a few more. Coach new and current members in leading. It's kind of like the succession planning. These people who are serving as assistant governors, some of them are on the call, have been presidents. They're also in a good role in helping to coach clubs, in people who want to serve in leadership or people who are already in leadership. This is where, let's say, the Rio Grande Academy would be very helpful. So there's always opportunities to coach and help those who want to lead. And then finally, creating committees that are practical. So it's really important that however you set up your committees, and Rotary has kind of a guideline for that, but make sure that they have something that they are focusing on, that there's some goal for the club, that's something that that committee can own and focus on, so that they can do work that is going to help the club grow and be more vibrant. So real quick overview of Be a Vibrant Club. A lot of good stuff in here. If you haven't gone through it, please take a look, and there's a lot of really good ideas and things to consider as you're getting ready for your year as president. So that was kind of quick. Are there any questions about just this kind of high level view? And as I said, I love this document. I wish that I'd known about it sooner, but if you haven't, please go through it, and I think you'll find it very helpful. Questions, comments before we move on?
Excuse me. You mentioned, this is Michael. You mentioned that we should download this President's Manual. Is it correct to download it from Rotary.org, My Rotary, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So the President's Manual and manuals for your club secretary, treasurer, membership chair, all those manuals are in My Rotary and Rotary.org. As Doreen mentioned, you'll be getting hard copies, but you can go ahead and download those from the Rotary.org website.
Okay, thank you.
And by the way, the website has just gone through an upgrade, and I really like it. I liked it before, but I think it's much more user-friendly now, and I think they've done a really good job. So, any other questions or thoughts about this before we get back to the President's Manual? Okay. So what are you waiting for? Be a vibrant club. Of course, you're vibrant clubs already, but maybe this will keep you a vibrant club. Okay, so here we start. Your job as club president. And it goes through this very nice, what I would call almost a checklist of things that you should be considering, both now when you're a president-elect, but then as you get into your role as president. A lot of these are going to be covered in the various chapters, but we'll kind of do a quick run through. Can everyone see this, or do I need to enlarge it?
No, it's fine. For me, it's fine.
So we'll just run through these, and as I said, if we go through these, and if you have any questions or if you have any experiences you would like to share as we go through these, please feel free to do so.
Jeff, this is Len. Can you enlarge it just a little bit? Mine
Sure.
is not seeing it real well.
How's that?
Much better, thank you.
Okay. I sometimes I think it's okay on my screen, but on your screens it may be smaller. Okay, so consult the club president on decisions affecting the club. So it's very important to be in the loop and not just wait for July 1st to roll around. Serve as a director on your club's board now. I'm assuming that most of you are in that situation. Appointing committee chairs and a trainer for your year. So in some cases, you may have already done this, and if you have, it's really important, and Kathy, feel free to jump in, but if you have appointed committee chairs, please go ahead and put that information into Rotary.org so that Rotary knows who the committee chairs are, but also the district website. You know, we at the district need to know who the committee chairs are as well, because a lot of the communications that we do go to the committee chairs. So appoint them, but also make sure that Rotary and the district are aware of who they are. Supervise preparation of the budget. That may be obvious, but again, you want to make sure that you have a pretty good handle on the budget while you're working on it this year, so that you can manage with that budget next year when you're our club president. Encouraging the club officers to attend the district training assembly. And this year we are having a district training assembly. We haven't had one, at least a in-person assembly, for a number of years. And that is one of Doreen's babies for this year. Doreen, do you want to talk for a minute about the assembly?
Sure, Jeff, thank you. The assembly is going to be in Albuquerque at the Crown Plaza, which is conveniently located at the Big I, where I-40 and I-25 converge. And it'll be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be followed by a foundation dinner, so you're welcome to join us for that. We'll be encouraging everybody to join Mary's Club, the Sandia Rotary Club, at the pancake breakfast, so that we go with full tummies. And it's only $25. That covers your lunch. We have some great outside speakers coming in to tell us all about strengthening our clubs, public image, and humanitarian service. So I hope that you can join us. It's really going to be a fun event, and you can network with your fellow Rotarians.
Thank you, Doreen.
What's that, Doreen?
What's the date?
What's the date?
Saturday, I'm sorry if I didn't mention that, Saturday, March 25th.
Thank you.
And there'll be, if it's not already on the district website, there will be a link for registration probably within the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, Kathy's going to have that on there real soon, and I would probably say early next week. And then the hotel has an $89 rate. It used to be the Hilton. It's a beautiful hotel. So if you want to stay over after the foundation dinner, it's a great deal.
Awesome, thank you.
And the pancake breakfast is only $9, not $25.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
$25 for lunch.
Okay, a couple others as president-elect. Create an account on Rotary.org. This is really important. So if you don't have an account on Rotary.org, please go ahead and set that up. You want to be able to go in. You can't enter your goals or edit your goals or get reports if you don't have an account. So if you're having trouble with that, I would say talk with your club secretary or talk with Kathy Fuller. But you definitely want to have an account on Rotary.org. Attend PETS, and in this case, prePETS, district training assembly, and a district conference. It really is important. And, you know, we we'd like to see everyone come to the district conference. It'll be in early May. But it's really important for you all to come. There's some information that comes at the district conference is really important, but it's just good for all of us to represent if possible. We are a very large district, obviously, and it's sometimes the travel is a logistical challenge, but if at all possible, please try to attend the district conference as well as the training assembly. As we talked about before when I sent out communication on PETS, it is a Rotary requirement to attend PETS. But there are certainly going to be instances when the president-elect cannot attend PETS. Maybe there's an illness or something going on. If a president-elect cannot attend PETS, then someone from the club needs to attend as kind of the designate. So every club needs to be represented at PETS in order to have, to be in good standing with Rotary. So please make sure if it's not you as a president-elect, that someone from your club will be able to attend PETS and then get that information back to you. But ideally, it would be you. That's the easiest way to go. And then finally, setting tracking goals for your club and Rotary Club Central. So the word here that I would add to the whole title of this section is preparation. So as president-elect, these are the types of things you want to be doing in preparation for the year that you are going to be president. Okay. The next set of checklist items, if you will, are things you want to be doing as president. And we're not going to go through these in as much detail. There's quite a few of these, but these are what you're going to be doing. And if you do your preparation and planning well, then it's going to be a lot easier to do these things. If, on the other hand, your preparation and planning do not go that well, it's going to be more difficult and more challenging. There's a lot of items here. So the better prepared you are, so the more you can be ready to go this year, the more likely effective you'll be as club president next year. One item I did want to bring up, because Doreen is on the phone, one of your responsibilities as club president is to prepare for the district governor's required visit. But there's been some changes that RI has been promoting this last year that will make the visits a little more flexible. So Doreen, if you're still with us, do you want to talk quickly about the notion about the governor's visit and how you'll be working with the presidents-elect on that?
Certainly. First, I want to emphasize that I think it's very important for the future of Rotary to be inclusive and supportive of younger people being able to serve in leadership roles. I am still working, and so I am asking for your consideration on how I can best serve your club. So my first choice would be for you to consider having me come on a weekend when you can invite your family members, when we can have a little extra time to cover all of the activities that you might want my assistance with, any questions that you have. We can do a visioning session or a strategic planning session. You can invite prospective Rotarians, and they can learn more about all of the activities that Rotary offers them and their family members, such as Youth Exchange and Rotary Youth Leadership Award and everything else. So I would love to have more time to support you and your clubs and make it a family and community event. We can also do multi-club visits, and those can be on a traditional day, or you can pick an alternative day. I'm sure not all of the clubs meet on the same day. I can support one of your projects or events. So if you have pumpkin chunkin' on Saturday in Estancia, for example, I can bring a crew with me to monitor the parking lot and do whatever you need us to do. We'll roll up our sleeves and support your club. And lastly, we will still do traditional visits. So if that's your preference, I'll certainly accommodate you. But I would ask you to consider, how can I best serve your club beyond the traditional 20-minute speech? And how can we make it easier for younger people to serve in all leadership roles in Rotary? Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Doreen. So these items are going to be more relevant for the year that you serve, but you certainly want to go over them and be prepared and ready to carry out these functions. So be thinking about how am I going to do this? How am I going to work with the board? How are we going to communicate goals with the club? And all these things that it talks about here are things you want to be thinking about this year. So we'll move forward, but this is a really important page to kind of keep a sanity check on what's going to take place the year that you are club president. And a lot of this is going to be covered in various chapters, but this is, I like this kind of a quick checklist to really kind of bring it down to the critical few of the things you need to be able to do when you are club president. Okay. Now we're going to get into a little bit of a deeper dive, and we're going to start with planning. And I'm glad that this is chapter 1 because it's hard to do anything unless you plan first, or, you know, the doing may not be that successful if you haven't planned well. So we might as well start with planning. And planning includes goals. And at the bottom of the first page here, it has this nice little section, and it does this for each of the chapters. Goal setting responsibilities, and it's got a few as president-elect, and it's got a few as president, kind of like the checklist we looked at before. Setting annual goals in Rotary Club Central that build towards your club's long-range goals. That's really important. And what I like about this is not only setting the annual goals, but the idea that there may be long-range goals. Remember, a few minutes ago, we talked about maybe having a 3 to 5 year notion of where the club wants to go. So there may be some longer-term visioning that the club is doing. And if that's the case, then what are going to be the goals for next year that align to that? So we highly recommend that clubs think about a little longer term than just annual goals. But believe me, even annual goals is significant if you can get them established and get the club working towards them. So setting annual goals in Rotary Club Central. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Kathy Fuller, who's going to walk us through kind of how the Rotary website and Club Central look as you're entering goals. So Kathy, are you ready to go?
I am, yes. So thank you, Jeff. And, let's see. Let me share my screen. So one of the things we want to be doing, as Jeff mentioned earlier, and it's one of the items on the checklist, make sure that you have created your My Rotary or your Rotary.org login. And when you go to Rotary.org, this is what the homepage.
Kathy, we're not seeing your screen yet. Sorry.
So I think this is share screen. And,
You may have to release the permission for her if she's not a leader.
Are you seeing it now, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so what I have here then is the My Rotary, the Rotary.org webpage, and if you have not created your My Rotary login yet, this is just extremely important for you to do, especially as a president-elect. Much of the stuff that we'll be doing at PETS and things that you can be doing to prepare between now and PETS, you can be familiarizing yourself with the site and doing that. So this is what it looks like when you first go to My Rotary, Rotary.org. And then when you actually log in, it will look something like this. And so I have already signed into this page, and they've done some terrific work with the website now. And once upon a time, several years ago, it was extremely difficult to find anything, but it's very interactive. There are lots of videos and just great information. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see my club snapshot, new information, Rotary Spotlight, updates on Infolio, and of course our Rotary 100-year anniversary for the foundation. Something that I would encourage you to do, and I believe it's part of this year's presidential citation, is to go and create your profile. And so you go to your profile, and you can upload a picture of yourself. you can just put all kinds of information here, but what they're wanting to do is to tell a little bit about yourself, and others might be finding out more about you then through Rotary. You can list phone information, your basic resume, I guess your Rotary Foundation information, people that you have sponsored in the past. So as I said, this is part of this district presidential citation, excuse me, the presidential citation. I'm sort of retired. It seems like that time I think I'm retired. I'm not, but anyway, that's part of your profile. You see across the top here, right below the Rotary banner, exchange ideas, and probably one of the best things to do is just to get up here and explore. We'll have opportunities to talk about discussion groups, events. Here you can actually get information about international convention coming up in Atlanta, club connections, just all kinds of information. If you want to find out how you can take action, how to apply for a grant, how to create a project, again, great information for you. Learning and reference. What do I need to do to be a new member? You can go to club roles and it will have the information about becoming a president. One of the things that I use the most is through the Manage right here. And with the Manage tab then, you can go to your club administration. Most likely you're not going to see the district administration, but club administration. And you can view all your forms. We just, the Rotary International just sent out their club invoices not too long ago, so you can pay or view your club invoice. And it's just excellent information. Rotary Brand Center and the branding information, the guidelines for using their logos. We got an email not too long ago from Rotary International President John Firm to say there's some illegal sharing of the new logo going on, and don't do that. So here's where I go though when I work with information in this club administration. One of the places though that you're going to really want to be checking out is Rotary Club Central, which is down at the bottom underneath the club and district administration. So click on that. And go ahead and go to our Alamogordo Club. So this is what you would do then as your club president-elect is choose your club. I'm not sure if you have to go to that process or not. If it doesn't go directly to your club, then click that link. This is where we just really get into the guts of being a president and setting goals. And as Jeff has said, then if you don't know where you're going, well, you're not going to get there. Or so this is really important. And as a president, again, if you're wanting to achieve the presidential citation, this is going to be critical for foundation giving. This is critical. We'll talk about foundation giving it again in a minute, but this year we have a record amount of money that has been distributed to some feedback here. District amount, incredible amount of money this year then that we're giving to clubs then to distribute to community grants. And that's because of the giving that was made to the foundation 3 years ago. You come up with your club view, and you have your club. Then it's looking at membership, the types of things, and your service projects. Then here next, and then foundation giving. Let's go ahead and go on to service. So we're talking about that information. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Rotary Club of Alamogordo as an example, and you can see here the great charts then that they make available. It gives you just really just a quick perspective of what's going on. So these are some of the things that our service projects for 2015-2016. course, you're going to be looking at 2017, 2018 then as you get ready to go. And but as you scroll down, then you'll see goals. Hey, Jeff, I don't know if anybody can mute or.
Let me do this. I'm gonna do like a global mute and then unmute you, Kathy.
Okay.
That may be the easiest thing. Give me 1 second.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. That makes it a bit easier. And so as you, again, as you go up to the top end, we have our club view, your club, the different goals that you can be setting in for your year. Right now, we're looking at the service tab, and you can quickly go down and to see the trends for your own club, your service projects and activities. And this is where you begin to set your own goals and progress. And what you'll be wanting to do would be to choose your year 2017, 2018. You can click on the edit button and make whatever changes. And I'm not going to mess with Mary's opportunity to do that. But very simply stated that does at least one club member belong to Rotary Action Group? And if no one else in your club has done that, well then, by golly, as a president, you can lead the way and join a Rotary Action Group yourself. Last week, Governor Doreen talked about several of the Rotary Action Groups that are available, and I belong to the WASRAG, or the Water and Sanitation Rotary Action Group, and it's just amazing what Rotarians are doing around the world to provide sanitary water and sanitation opportunities for people that don't have it otherwise. So you can easily read through these different requirements. Again, right now we're looking at the 2016, 2017 presidential citation goals, and you can click on this edit button and you can enter your goals, and it's just really easy to do. Scrolling down, then you can also look at. Okay, let me go ahead and cancel that. Thank you for your patience. My apologies. So your presidential citation goals, the service projects, and are you involved with the Rotaract Club or Interact clubs? That was one of a significant part of last year's presidential citation, and even this year, it's amazing. It's really cool to see the number of Interact clubs that are being created in our district, and not only that, but you can support an inbound youth exchange student or an outbound youth exchange student, as well as send students to RILA in this coming summer. And so those are great opportunities then for service. And again, setting those goals is so important, because if you don't set goals, then I guarantee them that you're just going to, you'll find that the Rotary year goes by more quickly than you even thought possible. Let's go back to your club. And this is a look at membership, and gives you some great information, demographic information about your club. Not only the number of members you have, your membership. So what kind of goals do you want to set for your membership? Do you want to bring in 10% new members? Are you hoping to just maintain the membership that you have? And so, again, setting your membership goals. I always found this very interesting, the gender trends. I always thought that our club had more of a 50-50 kind of split in between men and women, and actually that's obviously not true. At one time it was about 66% men and 33% women, but our president Phyllis this year is doing really well and getting more women to become Rotarians, and so we're kind of evening out that gender balance. Age is also important, and of course, in order for a Rotary to continue to be a live and vibrant organization, we need to get our younger professionals involved. And so, this is a good way to track your own club to see how are you doing then as far as getting younger members and what those balances are. So you can set your goals in for membership. Again, really easy to manage. You just click on the edit button, insert that information. Rotarian engagement then are members participating in the activities, and as Jeff mentioned, he learned then from their club that the fellowship and service projects were important. And so that survey is easily available to our club, to you as presidents and all club members to find out, well, what do your Rotarians want to be doing? How about your communication? Again, Jeff stressed about how important it is to communicate with each other. And so having, again, that strategic plan, knowing where it is you want to go. Do you have a website? Are you projecting yourselves socially, Facebook? Jeff has done a great job in helping our district do that through Facebook and connecting us through Zoom, and the number of social activities that you're doing. Public relations, are you involved with your community, with newspaper, radio? Again, just lots of opportunities to tell Rotary's story, and particularly your club story then to the community. We look next at foundation giving, and again, this is so critical. This year we're just really struggling, and I'm not sure why, but we still have about half the clubs, 40% of the clubs in our district that have not set goals for foundation giving. And again, the money that is given to the foundation this year will be returned to us in 3 years then in the form of district community grants. And so it's critical then for us to be generous in our giving to the foundation. And they make it so easy for us to do that. So we'll be having the opportunity to participate in the district cruise raffle. Carolyn Mitchell is working now then to get that set up and get the information to the AGs and LGs, and we'll be working on that then until our district conference. But set your goals here then through this particular tab here. You can edit here then what the amount of money that you want to donate to the annual fund, the Polio Plus, major endowments, just all kinds of opportunities. One of the things that we had the year that I was president was to increase the number of Paul Harris Society members that you have. And Yale Jones came down from Taos to talk to our club, and we had 5 new members sign up to be Paul Harris Society members that day. And so Yale was very generous in supporting us and getting Rotarians to give to the foundation. We can also look at the district view, see how are we doing as a district. And so this is also very informative. It just takes a little bit of time then for the district site, the website to move around. And then you can look at foundation then, and you can see this year right here then, 2013 is when we had such a huge generosity, over $30,000, $301,000 donated to the foundation. And you can see that we've had a steady decline in that, and we're almost to where we want to be as a district for this year. But what a difference between 168,000 and over 301,000. So we look at district trends. Also want to go and look at reports, and this is something that I didn't do last week, and Jeff mentioned, and so let's take a look at reports. But you can look at individual reports then. This is where you can go in to see, as a president, you can see what does your club look like then. And I'm not going to go there just because we'll be able to look at personal information, and I don't want to do that. But you can see how many points do you have as a club, and you can use those points then to award Paul Harris Fellows to club members or community members, people that you want to recognize to gone above and beyond the service above self. And so this is an opportunity then to look at those reports then for the individuals as well as for your club. And so, Jeff, can you think of any other questions or anything else that I might want to show them through Rotary Club Central?
No, I guess my only recommendation is, and we noticed this last week when we did the first prePET session, that you want to make sure, if you're a president-elect, that your secretary has notified Rotary International and the district, because if not, you may not have the access to this information, because the information comes given what your role is. So if you go in and you find out you don't have access to those forms or that information, or you can't go in and edit goals, it's likely because either RI or the district or both don't know you're a president-elect. So, so make sure you can get in. And if you can't, talk to your club secretary or talk to Kathy. But this is the time for you to go in and make sure you have access to that information. You don't want to be waiting until April or May. So make sure you have that access now. Is that correct, Kathy?
That is correct, and Jeff, thank you. And so your secretary, your club secretary, your club treasurer, you as the president-elect can access that information and update goals. And again, just as Jeff's saying, is making sure that information is in Club Runner and in Club Central. If you have difficulties, I can help you with that. We discovered last week that one club in particular that had not entered their executives for the coming year. And that's a Rotary requirement, but that has to be entered into Club Central then by the February 1st. And so we're coming up on that date pretty quickly. One of the things I thought I would do this week would be to go through and see which clubs still needed to enter their officers for the 2017-2018 year. And not been able to do that yet, but we'll hopefully do that this coming week. But if something happens to your secretary, then your treasurer, your president can enter that information, and likewise, just having backup help in case somebody is not able to do that. So if you have problems, let me know.
So this may be obvious, but we'll say it anyway. All club members can see club goals when they log in.
Yes.
But only a president-elect or a membership chair, someone who has a certain role, would be able to go in and edit or add. So if you go in and you can see them, that's just because you're a member of the club. You want to make sure you've got that edit button, the way you can go in and add goals or change goals. That'll be the sign that RI and the district know that you're a president-elect.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our club president's manual. So when I muted everyone, you can still unmute yourself if you have a question. It's just that it sets up like a blanket mute, but you can go ahead and unmute if you have a question or want to add something. So, so one point before we go on, and this also came up last week. There's a lot of information here. This is a 2-hour prePETS kind of an e-training. Our goal is to kind of get you acclimated to this information if you haven't seen it yet. We don't expect you're going to leave here and know everything that you're going to need to do as president, all the detail. Our hope, though, is that if you haven't gone through this, that this will kind of give you an idea of what you need to be prepared for, and then you have basically the next few months to really digest this and ask for help and make sure that when July rolls around, you're ready to kind of execute your role as club president. So if you feel a little bit overwhelmed, don't worry about it. You've got time to get this figured out. We just want to make sure that you're aware of what your responsibilities are. Okay, let's move on to the next section. By the way, it also gives, in Chapter 1, it gives you some sense of strategic planning. We also cover this quite a bit in Rio Grande Academy. The district can help you if you need help with strategic planning. This would be a great time. If you haven't met with your incoming board and done strategic planning, this would be a great time to do it. You'd really like to have goals identified sooner rather than later. So if you need any help with strategic planning, please let us know. Okay. And then it shows what Rotary's strategic plan is, which I find very helpful. I'd like to know that our club and our district are doing things in alignment with what our parent organization is trying to accomplish. So here's kind of Rotary International's big picture strategic plan with 3 goals: supporting and strengthening the clubs. So training like this and the support you get from your assistant governors and lieutenant governors, all that is designed to support and strengthen the clubs because it's all about the clubs. Focus and increase humanitarian service. Obviously, that's a very big deal for Rotary. It kind of defines who we are. And then I'm very glad to see that public image is its 3rd goal, because we really need to do more and be more effective in that area. And I've seen in the last year or two much more progress in being effective with getting the word out about what Rotary does and having our elevator speech, all the social media, all the opportunities to share with people what Rotary is about. It's become much more important, and we're doing a better job, although I still think there's opportunities to do even more in that area. But that gives you an idea of what Rotary International is thinking about in terms of the global entity. And, you know, we're a player. So our plans ought to align as best as possible with what our parent organization is trying to accomplish. So, okay. Let us move to Chapter 2. Now, we're not going to cover each chapter in the same level of detail, because some of the chapters cover topics we're going to be covering at PETS, like membership and the Rotary Foundation. We're going to focus more on your role. So the first couple of chapters, like the planning, and then this chapter on club management, we'll go over in more detail, because they're not going to be covered as much at PETS coming up. All right, so club management. So I find this very interesting, and again, I'd be interested in any feedback. We've had a few additional people join us since we've started who are in district leadership. So the invitation is out to all of you to interject or add best practices as we go through this. But what I like first about Chapter 2 is it has the word management in it. So as a president, you're almost serving 2 roles. You're serving as the senior leader of the club, the one that's going to motivate and inspire and communicate and set the tone and the kind of things that fall under the notion of leadership. But there's a lot of management responsibilities too. And this is what Chapter 2 covers. So, and this is where we get into more things like the board, how the board functions, how work gets accomplished. And so that you're kind of having to kind of balance both of those if you're going to be effective in your role. So just like with Chapter 1, there's some things you want to be thinking about right now as president-elect. Appoint and meet with your club administration committee. So the club administration committee, there's a separate manual for club administration like there is for the other standard Rotary committees, or Rotary club committees. But I'm glad they mention it here, because, and again, I'd be interested in how others view club administration, but what's unique to me about the club administration committee and what it's responsible for is it's almost like if you're the CEO of the club, the administration committee is kind of like your committee of COO. They're the ones that are focusing on the day-to-day operations, the weekly meetings, the club bulletin, the upcoming events, the things that the club does kind of on a daily and weekly basis. It's almost like, you know, if you're the senior leader and you have an effective management team, the management team focuses a lot on the day-to-day. You make sure they're doing that work, but then you're kind of staying above that and trying not to micromanage, let's say, with the work of that committee. If you're a small club, you may not have a club administration committee, but hopefully you have someone, maybe it's your club secretary, but you've got someone that can work with you to kind of focus on those day-to-day activities, because it really is very hard for one person to be serving as the club president and at the same time doing and managing a lot of that day-to-day work, or that operations that the club needs to do. So whether it be a committee or an individual, there ought to be someone that kind of has that complementary role with you so you can be effective as a team. Any input or feedback on that? Kathy, Cheryl, Jim Colvin, Doreen, others who were on the call about this?
Jeff, I'll go ahead and jump in. I think Doreen might have some input as well then. But if you don't have that team working with you, you will, as Doreen said last week, you'll wear yourself out and you'll be in serious trouble before you know it. And so you might be able to do it all, but only for a short period of time. But, and that's how you really build a team and how people are successful, I think, at Rotary then is as we use each other's talents and abilities.
Thank you. Any other input on this? Very, very important. I'm very glad that the club administration committee is mentioned here under club management because to me they are pivotal in effective management. So,
Jeff?
Yes, sir.
If your club is large enough to have a committee like that, it's one of the perfect opportunities to place up-and-coming members on that committee because it's great training for somebody who's going to be a future leader of your club.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. It's I hate to say it, it's kind of the making sausage group. There's a lot of that stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but you've got a very effective club administration committee. It almost seems seamless to the membership because everything behind the scenes is smooth and flowing. But you're right, Jim, it's a great way to learn how all that stuff happens so that when you get in as club president, you're already familiar with that. So very good point. Thank you. And then the next two are about the Constitution and bylaws. And we mentioned that briefly at the beginning of the training. This is the best time when you're president-elect, if you haven't already, to really get comfortable with your club constitution and bylaws. You may already be thinking about, are there changes we need to consider related to the bylaws, depending upon maybe some flexibility in the club meetings, things we talked about at the very beginning, satellite groups and Rotaract, joining Rotary, things like that. So this is a time to be reviewing all that documentation and thinking about if there's going to be any reasons to consider changes or amendments to the bylaws next year. The Constitution, you're basically taking that from Rotary International. You don't change that, but you adopt the Constitution that you get from Rotary International, but you also want to make sure you understand it because it does lay out the guidelines for what we basically can and cannot do as a Rotary Club. You know, Rotary is giving us flexibility and some autonomy, but we're still Rotary. So the Constitution and the bylaws really kind of help us understand all that. And again, if you read over sections and you're not sure what they mean, ask for help, whether it's from the current president of your club or the past president or maybe your assistant governor, but you really do want to be comfortable with those while you're president-elect and not waiting until you become president to get all of that figured out. We've talked about some of these already as president, preparing for the district governor's visit and visits from your assistant governor and lieutenant governor. Your assistant governor is going to see you more often than the district governor is, but you want to go through the same kind of preparation. You'd like to know up front if the assistant governor is going to be there. Does the assistant governor want to speak to the club for a few minutes? Is there anything that the assistant governor wants to share with the membership? So you want to be prepared for that. You want to make sure that the membership is kept updated and current. Kathy can preach on this better than anyone, but as a club, we receive a semi-annual invoice that determines what our dues are going to be to Rotary, and those are based on the members that Rotary International believes we have. So if we're not keeping accurate records of membership, then Rotary is going to invoice us differently than what we think it is. So we want to make sure that we've got accurate information to Rotary. So make sure your membership is accurate, your attendance, make sure the district is aware of that, and make sure those reports are getting submitted. The last two are also very interesting, minimizing risk. So I don't know about you all, but when I was club president, I didn't think much about risk until I had to. I did have an activity that involved a little risk, but you want to be thinking about risk as your club president, especially if you're involved in youth programs. Dick Jones couldn't make it today, but if you're doing any programs with youth, you want to make sure that you understand the youth policies that the district has, because there are certain things that we have to be able to do as it relates to working with our youth, especially with the RILA camp and youth exchange, things like that. So there's an area where you want to make sure you understand what the risk is and that the club is willing to take on that risk. There's other risks as well, but that one to me is maybe the most obvious and maybe one that a lot of our clubs are involved in, or the programs with youth. So just making sure that you understand the risk, but then you're minimizing it so that it's not taking over. You just want to make sure you're managing risk effectively and not waiting until you have to deal with a crisis. The last one, make certain that Rotary logos are used properly. So I think as of 2 days ago, you can go to Rotary.org and you can download the new Rotary theme. Doreen, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
So do you want to talk about the Rotary theme?
Certainly. The Rotary theme is Rotary, making a difference. And it's all about how Rotary makes a difference in the lives of people in our local community and the global community. Ian Risley is the president-elect of Rotary International. He comes from a background of sustainability. He's been an organic farmer and a vegetarian for the past 40 years. His focus is going to be on flexibility, making Rotary more accessible to everyone, having a more diverse Rotary. The emphasis as we are closing down on polio eradication is shifting to peace, which has always been peace, but our focus is going to be more centered on peace, conflict resolution, and sustainability. So it's just a very exciting theme. It's a very inclusive theme. It's a very colorful theme. Make sure that you become acquainted with that, and it'll be very helpful for you in your public image and outreach efforts to the community and attracting new Rotarians and attracting people to partnerships for humanitarian service projects.
Awesome. Thank you, Doreen. The reason why it's mentioned here in club management is that you want to make sure that whether it's the Rotary logo or whether it's the theme or some other logo, that you're using them properly. And Rotary provides guidelines on exactly how to use these logos. You know, there's intellectual property involved with this, so you just want to make sure that you follow the guidelines and use the logos as they were intended. Okay. All right. Talks about My Rotary. Again, we talked about making sure you have an account in Rotary.org, and there's a lot of information other than club goals. There's all sorts of other information when you log into Rotary.org that will help you effectively manage your club. So I would say if you haven't done so, go in and browse. For me, it's the best way of learning what's in Rotary.org is just look around. It's very helpful. Okay. Talks about the Club Administration Committee, which we've talked about. Talks about Rotary meetings. So again, there's more flexibility now that's come out in terms of our meetings. They're still very important, obviously, but because of people's travel and schedules and things, that Rotary is recognizing that we need to be flexible. But they are very important. And whether it's club meetings or board meetings or committee meetings, you just want to make sure that they're effective, that they're value added. It's also important for your club secretary to be in the loop on all of that. In many cases, the club secretary is a member of the club administration committee because there's so much overlap between what your club secretary is doing and all the day-to-day operations of the administration committee. But just make sure that when things are happening, when meetings are occurring, that notes are being taken. Hopefully you may have a place, whether it's your district website or somewhere where you can have a repository of all of that knowledge of what's going on. If we're not capturing what's going on, a year from now, we're gonna forget a lot of it. So conduct the meetings, take notes, document, make sure that the documentation is maintained. And you'll find that it's very helpful to be able to go back and remind yourself of something that occurred maybe a year or two ago, a key decision that needs to be communicated to the club. So just a few thoughts in this section. It talks about creative club meetings rather than just the normal meeting where there's a guest speaker and so on. There may be after hours meetings, or could be a working meeting that could be like a club assembly, a bring a friend meeting. So again, just think about flexibility in how you want to have the meetings. If you haven't done so, doing those club member surveys, finding out, what do you like about our meetings? What don't you like about the meetings? What can we do to make the meetings better? They may have some great ideas that didn't come to mind for you because they're sitting there, they're participating, and they may have some ideas. So it's always good to get feedback from the membership on how to make the meetings more fun, more valuable, so on. Okay. Then it talks about club assemblies. We've talked about this a little bit, but they are really important. But from what I've seen, clubs may be doing them quarterly, maybe twice a year. If there are progress towards goals to show the membership, using the club assembly is a great way to present that information to the membership rather than sending it by email or something like that. Give them a chance to interact, ask questions. So club assemblies are very important, just like the upcoming district assembly is very important. So please consider how you would be incorporating assemblies into your meetings for the year. Governor's visit, we've already talked about. Elections of officers. So again, if you're president-elect now, hopefully you've already identified who the officers and the committee chairs are going to be for this upcoming Rotary year. And you've notified Rotary International and the district so that they know who those people are, so they can be getting communications. There is a deadline. Kathy, that's February 1st. Is that correct for some of this?
That is correct, yes.
So, but don't wait to the last minute, please. Get the information in as soon as possible. And by the way, if there's any changes, if someone leaves the club who was an officer and you have a change, make sure that Rotary and the district are aware of that as well. Okay, we have the reporting requirements. Again, your secretary is going to be really critical in that, making sure that information is getting to Rotary in a timely manner, especially about membership and attendance. We've talked about the Constitution and bylaws.
Jeff?
Yes.
Can we go back to the reporting requirements, and then just let me just jump in here for a second. And probably the biggest frustration that a lot of club secretaries and presidents experience is the keeping the membership up to date and attendance, and we'll get into that a little bit more, but that is just so critical. I can't stress that enough, how important that is to keep that membership up to date and make sure that the secretary, treasurer, president are all just keeping an eye on things and making sure that's up to date. So thanks for letting me jump in there, Jeff.
Yeah. I'm a bit, for those of you who know me, I'm kind of paranoid. So I was actually club secretary a few years before I was president. And every time I would submit a report, I would trust that it didn't get there. And I would make sure I said, did you get the report? And Kathy's predecessor, Lauren, was the district secretary at the time. And Lauren would get a little bit tired of me saying, hey, Lauren, did you get my report? Just because every month it seemed I was checking up. But sometimes things fall through the cracks. So it's helpful to at least get some kind of validation. Maybe it's a reply, thank you, or some recognition that your report was received rather than assuming that it got there. You don't have to do it in a paranoid way, but validating that things were received is not a bad idea.
It's not, and I'm more than glad if you, paranoia is not a good thing. It's certainly not with me. I'm not the attendance police, but I will remind you that's a Rotary requirement that has to be submitted by the 15th of each month, and but I will be glad to affirm or confirm that you have that your attendance is okay. So no worries.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. Then it talks about financial management, and as again, a president-elect, you want to be already thinking about your budget or the budget for next year. Financial management also includes if your club is going to be applying for a grant, there needs to be a financial management plan just to manage the grant funds. So it may not just be the operating budget, there may be a grant involved. So again, you just want to be aware of all this and be working with your club treasurer, your club foundation chair, if you are applying for a grant, to make sure that you've got all the financial management pieces in place. By the way, Rotary dues are going up slightly. So again, make sure the treasurer is aware of that, because when they do the billing, you want to make sure that they're incorporating the increase in club dues into the billing.
Jeff, if I could jump in again, then in order to receive a district grant or have that approved I'm usually asked by the district foundation chair, then I'm asked 2 questions. Number 1, is your attendance up to date? And then number 2, are your district and Rotary International dues paid? And so I, most times able to say yes, but we still have 3 clubs that have not paid their district dues this year, and that's just a one time a year shot. But that's, again, very important for the things you might want to accomplish.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, the club invoice, that's that semi-annual invoice that we were referring to. This is your twice a year submitting information to Rotary International and paying based on membership. And that's why you want to make sure that your membership is accurate. And again, it's what Rotary International thinks it is, not what you or your club secretary thinks it is. So make sure that your information is accurate and that it is exactly what Rotary thinks it is. You want to make sure that your numbers match their numbers. Otherwise, it becomes quite a problem to try to get that resolved. Okay. Then it has a little section on risk management. Again, we talked about that a little bit, but I'm glad it's here. I think it's healthy to be to at least think about contingencies, backups. Be thinking about what happens if we do something and it doesn't work out right, or there's a problem. A lot of organizations have emergency response plans or whatever you want to call them, but all I would say is it's healthy to at least think about the possibility of something going wrong and how you're going to handle that. In the Rio Grande Academy, we talk about in the public image section, public image is great when everything is going well. But if something bad happens, people are going to hear about that pretty quickly. And so you just want to make sure that you've got a plan or a method set up so that if something does go awry, the club knows how it's going to deal with that, both internally and in terms of communication to whether it's the local community or whatever groups you need to communicate with. So just thinking about risk is healthy. I wouldn't worry about it, just it's healthy to think about it and have those contingencies in place in terms of how you're going to handle situations if they arise. Any feedback or input on that notion? That's not something that we talk about often, but there are things that come up where we've got to handle things at the last minute because we didn't proactively imagine that scenario. And sometimes it gets really awkward to try to do a lot of last minute damage control when there's a problem. So,
Jeff?
Yes?
This is Doreen. In terms of crisis communications, if something serious happens, it is not the club's responsibility to respond to the media. So I want to take that weight off their shoulders. It is the club's responsibility to immediately notify the district governor or his or her representative. And then the district governor will decide who is the best person to speak to the press. And that way we can manage our crisis communications in a way that is not detrimental to Rotary and takes a lot of the pressure off of the club.
Oh, that's great to know, Doreen. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Moving on. There's an appendix that talks about Rotary training events. It's helpful to take a look at that. Not just for yourselves, but for the person who's going to be serving as president after you. Okay. Chapter 3, your leadership. All right, so last chapter was management. This is more of the leadership. This is the, your skill sets, communication and motivation, more of the personal skills. We'll talk some more about this at PETS, but we'll just touch on it briefly here. Appoint club committee chairs based on their skills, knowledge, experience. Jim Colvin had mentioned earlier, for example, a club administration committee, it's great to have people who are interested in getting into leadership be part of that committee, or maybe even some new members of the club. Very true. I would say it's true for a lot of the committees to kind of, it's healthy to bring new members in and have them serve on committees. The chairs should be people who have knowledge of what it is that that committee is responsible for. You don't necessarily want committee chairs learning on the job. In fact, the district assembly and other trainings that we do are to equip committee chairs to be ready to serve effectively in their role, like we're trying to equip you all as presidents-elect to be effective in your role when you become club president. So if you have the opportunity to appoint committee chairs, be thinking about their skills, experience, their knowledge of the area, but then added to the committee may be the diversity, the people that have interest in that topic. They may be new to the club. So just other things to think about with that. Understanding the role that the district has in supporting the club. Hopefully prePETS and PETS will give you a better understanding of what the role of the district is. What I like about Rotary is that the district and Rotary International are in support roles. So even though the district has kind of governance responsibility, that's not its primary focus. Its primary focus is supporting clubs. So the relationship that we have between the district and the clubs, or between Rotary International and the clubs, it's important that you understand that. And I'm glad that Doreen brought up the notion about risk management and making sure that the governor could come in and help. That's really the role, that kind of reflects the role that the district has. We are here to help and support and equip, not tell you what to do and not manage and mandate. It's really more to equip and serve. Okay, and then provide clear communication. I can't stress that enough. And clear communication doesn't mean communication every day. Doesn't have to be, every day, every minute of every day, but you just want to make sure that the membership is aware of what's going on. Be transparent. Maybe that's a word to consider here, but also be very clear. If you have a certain sense of what's going on and you have a challenge communicating it clearly, then the message that you were conveying may not have been heard by your audience the way you intended it to be heard. So if that's an area where you need some help, let us know. But being very clear in your communication is really important. Can't say that enough. Recognizing accomplishments of the club leaders and the members. There's nothing better than celebrating success and recognizing people. It's important. Rotarians, by their very nature, are humble. We don't do things for recognition. We do it because we serve. But at the same time, it does mean something to be recognized. And so as a club president, you're going to be in a position to recognize people in your club for things that they've done. And again, it's important, but it's not why we're doing it typically. But it is important to do that. Motivation. I guess the only thing I would say here is that there are times when we get into comfort zones. We just kind of go, we do what we do. It's almost automatic. But there are times when we need to motivate. We need to get our members to stretch a little bit. Maybe we set a goal that is different than what we've done in the past. So just don't assume that the members are going to just do what they've been doing all the time. You may need to get in and motivate them and engage them, especially if there's something that the club is going to be involved in that they haven't been involved before, something that may be new. So just be thinking about how you're going to be motivating people. And if there are people that have been Rotarians for years and years, they may be the hardest to motivate, just because they've been in it so long. They're kind of used to their routine. Maybe the newer members are easier to motivate. It just kind of depends. But having that kind of motivational skill set is going to be important in your role as club president. Any input on that notion?
Jeff, I'll jump in. I think, with volunteers especially, I can't tell if somebody else is talking or if it's feedback. But anyway, with volunteers, it's important to inspire them. It's also important to give them autonomy and engage them. So give them a project, let them have some control over it, and share the information about Rotary that is so inspirational about everything that we're doing in the world and in our community. And I think that's just one way that you can motivate people.
I agree, Doreen. Thank you. And the one other thing that a number of clubs do, and I really like the notion of this, is you may be a president-elect who has not been in that particular club for a while, so you may still be getting to know the membership. Some clubs will have their big fundraiser, their big service project that involves a lot of the membership. And what the club will do is they'll have the president-elect manage that effort, the fundraiser, the big project. Partly because that's one way for the president-elect to kind of get a sense of, okay, who are the people who are the self-starters? Who are the ones that need a little bit of pushing? Who are the ones that may need a lot of pushing? So having the president-elect manage the big project for the club is an interesting way of getting some insight into the types of personalities and types of people that you're going to be dealing with when you're president. So I just find that a very interesting way of kind of killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. Okay, we're going to move on, and we're going to get to club committees. So Rotary International recommends a committee structure like this. 5 standard committees, and again, it's a recommendation. You may set it up differently. I would say there's 2 advantages to having it set up this way. One is there's a logical sense to it, having a committee focusing on those day-to-day activities, a committee focused on membership, a committee focused on public relations, one on the Rotary Foundation, and one on service projects. There's a logical order to those, but the other advantage is that there's a manual that Rotary International publishes for each of those committees. So there's additional guidance on effective committees in those 5 areas. And again, if it's a small club, maybe you have 1 or 2 people working on each of those. And if you're larger clubs, your membership committee may be broken out into smaller subcommittees. You may, if you're a large club, you may have a recruitment subcommittee, you may have a retention subcommittee, but these are the 5 areas that Rotary International recommends you set up your board structure. So, and I find that very helpful. So again, if you haven't thought about this, this is a good time to be thinking about it. In many cases, those committee chairs are board members, but they may not be officers, but they're members of the board, they're voting members, they're using the board meetings to report on their activities and so on. So there's going to be a connection between how the board is made up and the chairs of these various committees. Okay. We've talked about working with your district. We've talked about succession planning. It is our hope that one of the things you're thinking about this year, or others in the club are thinking about, is who's going to be the president after you, and maybe even the president after that person. Last couple of years since I've been at PETS, I've been heartened to see that not only presidents-elect are coming, but presidents-elect are coming, because they get 1 year to kind of get their feet wet with a lot of this material before they really have to start digesting it and figuring things out. So, be thinking about succession planning, and maybe have the president-elect attend PETS. Maybe show them the prePETS videos on YouTube to, again, give them a sense of what their year is going to be like and what they need to be thinking about. You know, the sooner they're thinking about it, the better off they will be. So, okay. I have a few more sections to go through. Here's some sample committee structures. This would be for a fairly large club. They have their 5 committees and then possible subcommittees or areas of focus that each one is responsible for. By the way, keep in mind, their recommendation is a committee for the Rotary Foundation. That would be your district grants, your global grants, your Paul Harris Fellows, things like that. A number of your clubs may have your own club foundation. And if you do, there may be a completely separate governance structure for the club foundation. So please don't confuse the Rotary Foundation with a foundation that your club may be managing. It's very important that the board have input on how your club foundation is doing, but typically with the way the governance is set up, your club foundation, that chair is not a member of the board because they typically try to separate the two. And that's true with most nonprofits if they have a foundation. So I just want to confuse you. This is the Rotary Foundation, not your personal or your club's own foundation. Did that make sense? Do I need to clarify that or anything to add to that if I didn't make it clear? Okay. Small clubs may just have 1 or 2 people serving in each of these. I think it's really important if you're the president-elect for a small club, you're in the same position to have as much success as any other club. You're doing it with fewer people, but your success and your ability to have a vibrant club is not dependent on the number of members. I've seen some very successful small clubs, and I've seen some large clubs that are not successful. The key is to focus your members on what needs to be done. And whether it's 20 people or 10 people or 50, just make sure that they're focused and set up a structure that fits the size of your club as well as their skill sets as best as possible. Okay. Chapter 4 is about membership. We're going to just touch on this briefly because you're going to get a lot more membership issues discussed at PETS, but it does go into kind of the critical few here about the membership committee, about recruitment, retention, diversity, maybe sponsoring a new club. And again, with the new flexibility, the possibility of having Rotaractors, if you have a Rotaract club in your area, having them be members of your club at the same time. Kathy showed you in Club Central the membership goals area. That's the first tab, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it is the first tab because membership is so important. So, and I like this one, implement innovative strategies. Try things that are different. Rotary is opening us up to a whole world of ideas and opportunities and things that we can do differently. So don't just try the same things over and over again. Maybe try something new. Okay, before I go on, I skipped my cue again for Kathy to talk about the district website. So Kathy, do you want to walk us through Club Runner for a few minutes?
I'm muting and unmuting myself. Yes, this is a great time to do that then. So thanks. So I'll just click the share screen.
Okay, we're not seeing it yet.
Okay, now?
Not yet.
How about now then, Jeff? You see it now?
Not seeing it, Kathy. I'm sorry. Not sure. You've got the green button, correct?
I do, yeah, I clicked on that. Okay, here we go.
You may have to release speaker view for her.
She should be able to do it. Kathy, do you want me to bring up Club Runner on my computer?
Well, let me try again here, Jeff. Well, I think I just lost you. Yes, if you would, that would be great. So I'm clicking the share screen button, but it doesn't seem to be cooperating with me.
Okay, sorry about the snafu, folks. Give me 1 second and I will bring up. Club Runner. Okay. So this is the district website. Now, Kathy, I'll log in as me, but you can kind of walk me through it, if that's okay.
Okay, so upper right-hand corner, then you'll see where it has member login, and that's basically this is a district website, and you can see the various tabs that we have set up. Great information here. We have the district event calendar over to the left, and the governor's calendar. Conference registration is already up for this year's conference in Albuquerque.
It's also here.
Okay, yes, and so you can register. Yeah, okay, let's scroll down a little bit then, Jeff, so we can look at the upcoming events. And this is a good opportunity to talk about PETS then. So you guys have already registered then for the pre-PETS training that you're participating in today. And then you'll see right below that then, we have the 2017 PETS. And so many of you have already registered, and if you have not, then today's a great day to do that. You can either pay by credit card or write me a check, and many clubs will either reimburse you or send a check to me then for that, and so that's easy to do. And that will be the 24th and 25th of February. We're meeting in El Paso. And for those of us who live in the south part of this state in West Texas, that's going to be greatly appreciated. So Beth, let's go back up to the top part of the website, scroll back up. And so let's go ahead and go to the member login. And so you go ahead and just click on that member login. And we have Jeff's login information comes up then with his login name and password. And let's go ahead and log in then, please, Jeff. Thank you. You're able, the login will allow you to keep your password and username up, and so it's easy to log back in again. And again, you're looking at the same page here with information. Sometimes information is embedded in the website that if you're not a member of Rotary, you're not able to see. But for those of you then as presidents, secretaries, and treasurers, in order to submit your monthly attendance, to update membership, you're going to want to go to that upper right-hand corner again where it says member area and click on that one more time. And that really takes you into the administration area. And that just seems to be kind of a hang-up for a lot of things. And well, this is great to see your screen. So yours looks a lot like mine. On the right-hand side, you'll see district clubs and membership. Just all kinds of opportunities here that you can see. Again, information about our district, information about your membership, information about your clubs. In the middle part on the right-hand side, it says for members, you can go here to, you can edit your profile. Again, you can update a photo for yourself. You can change your phone number. You can put in your email address, change your occupation, anything there. You can change your password. Sometimes I might ask you for your username and password if I need to log in for you and get you registered for something, or if there's some sort of a glitch. What's also very helpful is the search member e-directory. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth item down. I probably get asked this question more than any other is, can you help me find so-and-so? And so what I do is I come here to the search member e-directory and look them up. Now, if somebody's information in there is not correct, if their phone number is not working anymore or not updated, or email is not correct, I don't have any magic directory that's going to help me find that person. And so, again, a good reason and why it's important for each of us to keep our personal information updated and correct. Going on down, scrolling on down a little bit more, then for the club executives, and this is where it's so important for you then to be able to access this information. You can see your active members, and you can also it would also show your honorary members if you have any honorary members. The club attendance report is kind of in the middle here, and that's where club secretaries, each club secretary currently, or the executive secretary, is the person who generally has the access to that and can input the club's attendance. Jeff, would you go ahead and click on club attendance, and it's probably going to be your club that comes up okay, so we have monthly attendance for Rotary Club of Albuquerque del Sol. Thanks for letting us share that then, Jeff. But you'll see then for December, and I'm a little bit surprised that well, no, because we're in January right now, aren't we? I was trying to get us into February already. But you'll see then where we have the number of members in the club, 61. Any new members that might have joined the club in December, anyone who might have terminated, the number of meetings that were held, and then just figuring out the percentage of attendance then. So, and that's inserted in by your club secretary, or the treasurer, or the president can also do that. Critical important thing here then is to click the save button. Oftentimes folks forget to just click on that save button, and that is the critical thing there. So the attendance is really easy to do, and it's just a matter of keeping up with it each month. Most folks are really good about that. I do send out a friendly reminder. Well, I haven't sent one out yet for January, but a friendly reminder around the 15th of the month for those folks who have not submitted. And oftentimes it's like, oh yeah, I got busy and I just forgot. And that is no problem at all. Again, I just send out that friendly reminder because that's part of my duties. But it is one of the requirements that for Rotary International that we submit our attendance each month. And I think Maureen is probably looking to see what attendance is looking like for folks as part of her role as district governor. Jeff, let's go ahead and go back to that previous screen, please. Okay. Got a message here for Cheryl Saveda, but I'll look at that then. Thanks, Cheryl. I see that. Other things then, it's just a matter of getting in here and just experimenting. Hey, Jeff, could we go ahead and take a look at you if we go back up to membership and see edit my profile? Can we take a look at can we take a look at your profile and just see who is the true Jeff Weinrich? We all there he is then. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. But here's Jeff's basic information then, his name, cell phone, date of birth. All right, yeah, he's a whippersnapper. The Rotary tab then will show when you joined Rotary, your membership then, if it's active. As president, secretary, treasurer, you can change that status then to honorary. You would just click that. And shows what club you're a member of, your Rotary member number. Oftentimes folks are trying to figure out what their Rotary member number is, and that's where you would find that. And then if you click on the settings here, no, let's not click on, let's click on settings. I think you did already, or did you change it? Okay, don't worry about that. And I see that we're running out of time then, but again, it's just a matter of getting in here and just kind of, just being comfortable, being familiar with it. And again, I'm more than glad to do that. By using Zoom, sometimes we can share each other's screens. I'm not sure what was going on with that this morning, but Jeff, thanks for letting us use you.
Not a problem.
Can we do one more thing then? And can we go back to your club then? And so let's go to the underneath the district clubs and membership on the right-hand side. Let's look at the club and membership detail there. Let's see. All right, okay, well, okay, so like here's this, but not everyone's going to be able to see this, I don't think, but if you could go back to Albuquerque del Sol, is that your club? I should know
Yes.
that, okay?
Club information page.
There you go. And actually, that's going to take you to the website, I think. Let's click on that, and then I'm going to be quiet because I think that. Okay, good. So here, let's say, so you guys meet at the Meals on Wheels Cafe, and gives location. About every year, we have at least one club, maybe two, that will change their location of where they're meeting or the time or something else like that. And so again, this is real easy to edit or update. And if you have problems, I'm always glad to do that. We'll have the name of the president and then also the name of the club executives, board members. And so this is information then from the district website, the web page then that you can, somebody wants to find out, well, hey, where is this club meeting, or what clubs meet on Thursdays in the morning in Albuquerque, then they can click on that, and then Albuquerque del Sol will be one of the clubs that pop up. But it's just an incredible amount of information that can be accessed and manipulated here through Club Runner. And so just one final thing then, Club Runner does go with our district site. Club Central goes with Rotary International. And I think with that, Jeff, I'll be quiet and give it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Okay. So we have a few minutes left. I want to go through just the last few sections of the manual just to kind of get you acclimated to what's in there. Again, a lot of this will be covering at PETS, but just to kind of give you a high-level view of what we'll be dealing with. So we've got the membership section. Our district membership chair, Cheryl Saavedra, has joined us. Cheryl, are you with us? She may be with us, but may not be able to communicate with us. But anyway, if you're going to be going to PETS, you'll be working a lot with Cheryl and members of the membership committee, obviously very important for all of our clubs. So membership is obviously very important. Next chapter deals with public image, promoting Rotary. Again, I'm glad to see that this is getting such a major push because we just need to do a better job. So this would be important for you as a president-elect, but also, again, if you have a public relations committee or someone who's focusing on that for the club, there's a separate manual just on public image and public relations for a club committee. So you'll get a copy of that when you get your other manuals from Doreen. But a lot of really good information here about public image and public relations.
Were you waiting for me to respond, Jeff?
No, not necessarily, unless you want to interject.
No, I just want to share a closing thought when we get to the end, and then that's all for me.
You got it. One thing we talk about, again, in Rio Grande Academy when we talk about public image, and I think it's something to think about if you haven't yet, is that for us in Rotary clubs, we really have at least two brands that we're trying to promote. We're promoting the Rotary brand. We're also promoting our club brand. And so as you're thinking about public image and letting people know about what's going on, you want to, again, maybe balance getting the word out about the big Rotary that we're all part of and how great it is, but also about our club and how great it is. So just something to think about in your public image strategy. We want to be promoting both because they both deserve to be promoted. The last two chapters, there's one on the Rotary Foundation, and again, you'll get a lot of this at PETS. We also have training specifically on aspects of the Rotary Foundation, like applying for a grant. The Rotary Foundation Committee will oversee that training. It's required if your club is going to be applying for a grant next year. But you'll get a lot more information about the foundation. And the way I like to think about the foundation is that there's two arrows. There's the arrow that comes from the foundation to us. That would be if we are the recipients of a grant. The foundation will help us with that. There may be matching funds involved. So there's value to the club from the foundation. But then there's an arrow from us to the foundation. That's our contributions to the foundation. And Kathy showed early on how the district was doing with its contributions to the foundation. And that's important because the foundation holds money for 3 years before giving some of it back to the district to use for grants. So if we have a good year this year in terms of money available, it's probably because 3 years ago we did a very good job contributing money to the foundation for it to do its work. So two-way arrow, very important, and we have a great District Rotary Foundation Committee that will help you through all of that as well. The last chapter, I believe, is on service projects. So again, there's going to be a lot of club activity here, but it's not just the hands-on projects that show up here. It's the projects you have with your youth, the Rotaract and Interact and RILA and Youth Exchange. It may be international service projects. It may be something you're doing with a club across the border in Mexico. So it's not just local service projects that this chapter talks about. It's really all the various types of service projects that you or your club can be involved in. So again, you'll hear more about this at the conference or at the PETS, but again, just like the other chapters, I would go through this, make sure you're kind of comfortable with the various types of service projects that your club can be involved in. There's a whole section here on Rotary service, all the various types of ways that your club can be involved. And it's not just a club, it's also members of the club. So there's things like Rotary Friendship Exchange, Rotary Fellowships, Rotary Action Groups. There's all sorts of activities and ways that members of Rotary and clubs can be involved. And I always tell people when I'm recruiting people into Rotary, it's like, whatever you're interested in, there's probably going to be some Rotary program that's going to fit your interests. It's just a matter of finding what it is. So that's what this chapter deals with. There's a lot to cover there, but please go over that and we'll touch more on that at PETS. Okay, we're getting close to 11 o'clock. That was a fairly quick dive into this manual. We covered some sections in more detail than others, but you'll get more of that at PETS. Doreen, do you have a closing comment before I give a final announcement?
Yes. First, I want to thank everyone that took their time this morning to be on the call. I want to thank Jeff for putting together this prePETS to prepare everyone for what lies ahead in the coming year. Thank you, Jim, for joining us on the call today. We're looking forward to seeing you in El Paso next month. Toward the goal of making it easier for people that are younger and working to serve in Rotary and to have time for your families and everything else, we shortened PETS so that, this call was just another way that Jeff, as your trainer, tried to make it more flexible to your schedule. So I hope that everyone finds that easier to manage. We shortened the PETS schedule to just a day and a half. And we are trying to make it easier in our large district for people to get to meetings. So we're rotating where the meetings are. PETS is in the south this year. I know that means some people will need to drive a little further, but your turn will come. You'll get a shorter drive. So please support the PETS. Go ahead and get registered. Again, it's required. It's the only meeting that you are required to attend. Though we'd love to have you join us at other meetings. If you can't participate, please have your president nominee, a past president, or another club leader register, and then just let me know who's going to be there if you can't be there. So that's all from me. I just want to thank everyone again for their time today.
Thank you. And so after this, you'll get an email from me that will have 2 links. One will be to the recorded YouTube video of this. And again, that's something you can show your club officers or your president that's going to follow you. And then you'll get a second link to the online survey. We really do need your feedback. Be open and honest, as I expect you will be. We need to know what worked well and what didn't, both the training itself, but also how the technology worked. Are there any final questions before we end the meeting? If not, thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you at PETS.
Okay.